Hi, everybody.
There you go.
All right, last one. I'm the program director for the Hill Country Alliance, and thanks you all for being here. I just wanted to share two reports that we put out, or two resources that we're sharing this year, both of which are designed to hopefully help local lawmakers and local advocates and community members advance. Can you all hear me? You can hear me, okay. Advance good policies to address the impacts of growth in our communities and in our region. Let's see. The first one is called Growth and Conservation in Texas, a primer on county tools and paths forward. This was produced by GAP Strategies with support from several of our partners around the region, and I want to give a special shout out to Marisa Bruno, who really led the coordination for this and did a lot of the editing and a lot of the deep work for it. There's actually 3 versions of this report on our website. There's like a full-length 60-page version of this report. There's an abridged version, and then there's a 4-page executive summary. And I think depending on who the audience is, each has a value. The full-length version goes over some of the history of county authority and county tools in our state. It also looks ahead at what kinds of legislative moves could be helpful for empowering counties to better address the impacts of growth. But it also looks at what tools are available to counties today, what's being used and where at a pretty high level. And that's what I'm going to focus on now because it's a lightning round. They surveyed counties, mostly focusing on the Hill Country, but also outside of the Hill Country a little bit. They heard back from 15 counties that basically filled out a form that said, yeah, we're doing this and we're doing this, but we're not doing that. This isn't all of you can see subdivision all the way down to impervious cover. That's actually only about half of what they were asking counties about. I just kind of truncated it for the purposes of this presentation, but you can see there's a lot of variability. You can see the counties across the top. There are some counties that are doing a lot, some counties that are doing a lot less. Nobody is doing everything that they could. No county is doing everything that they could to address the impacts of growth. So every county has something to learn, something more they could do. There's basically 3 takeaways that GAP Strategies presented from this. One is, let me go forward. One is long-range planning. So counties could be making better use of long-range planning, particularly transportation planning, to indicate where they want to see growth and where they'd rather see development. Some counties are doing that. Most counties are not doing that, but it's good to communicate to the developer community about where the county would like to see that growth and where they intend to invest in infrastructure. The second is variable lot sizes. Counties, for the most part, could be doing more to increase the minimum lot sizes, which is probably the move that makes sense in most rural counties. We heard about that earlier today with the Bandera case, for instance. And then finally, stormwater and flood control. Counties have some ability to regulate in the floodplains, but they can also require, say, low-impact development in roadways, in their road regulations. And so that would also help with stormwater and provide habitat and have all kinds of other advantages. And of course, counties can also advance land conservation through bonds or other mechanisms, as we've seen recently in recent years in Hays County and Kendall County, and upcoming in Travis County on the ballot in November. The next report or resource is Leading by Example. And by the way, these both live on the Hill Country Alliance website. This one in particular really only makes sense as an online resource because it's full of links. We did this one in-house, and Sydney Beckner, my colleague Sydney Beckner, really led the research on this, so I wanted to give her credit. Thank you. So this one looks at 20 policies, mostly that are appropriate at the municipal level. They're divided into chapters for water, land and sky, transportation, and zoning and development regulations. And under each one, so within those chapters, there's 20 subchapters basically. And each one of those topics, we explain what that particular ordinance is. So for instance, tree ordinance. What are tree ordinances? What are best practices for tree ordinances? What are good examples? Let me just click ahead here. what are good examples for tree ordinances. So this is just a page from the book, and you can see all of those are links. So it links to the Johnson City Ordinance and the Blanco Ordinance and the Bulverde Ordinance. And then finally, what are some additional, this is the best practices stuff, and what are some further resources that could be explored. So the idea here is that this would be valuable to local officials, but also to local community members who want to be more informed about what these policy areas are and how to advance them. And then I guess just to wrap up, I thought I'd throw in just a little bonus on a third resource that we issued this year. Tools for managing groundwater in the Texas Hill Country. So we've got resources for counties, resources for cities, and also resources that really focus on groundwater, what GCDs, counties, and the public can do to advance groundwater strategies. So please take a look at our website, check out these resources. If you find them useful, please let us know. We'd love to hear that. And if you want help going to your local officials with these resources to talk to them about strategies outlined here, let us know, because we'd love to help you with that too. Thank you so much.